Shalom. All praises, all power, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who teach well and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akyam, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives throughout the four corners of the earth. And to the Akwat listening and learning in sincerity and the truth and in silence, Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the GMS Toronto camp here in Toronto. Here's another lesson. In transit, hit the button, and basically just meditating on this whole Lincoln Memorial, the fiasco with the water, where Trump spent money, taxpayer money, in the amount of 16 million. I'm just going to read this real quick. It says here, Trump says repairs to algae plagued reflecting pool will begin immediately. All right. U.S. President Donald Trump says he has inspected the reflecting pool in Washington, D.C., and that work will begin immediately to repair the American landmark. Despite a recent multi-million-dollar renovation, including a fresh coat of blue paint, the historic structure continues to face issues, most prominently algae turning the water a bright shade of green. Right? So, this is just... I was watching an Elder Apostle Tahar's video this morning, and he was going into this Lincoln Memorial, and he said it's an omen, and that stuck out to me, and immediately one specific precept came to my mind. I said, you know what, let me hit the button. But this is an omen, and I looked into the word omen, right? Online etymology. A verb, omen, verb, to give indication of the future, right? From 1775, from omen, right? And then the noun, casual event or occurrence supposed to portend good or evil, right? So this is an evil omen, right? Of the an indication of America the Great, Babylon the Great's future, right? And we know, 2nd Ezra 15, I'm going to quote it. It says, I will strike Egypt with plagues as before, right? Egypt being spiritual Egypt, spiritual Sodom, which is America. America the Great, Babylon the Great, right? With plagues as before. We know ancient Egypt was hit with plagues, right? You had the flies, the plague of darkness, right? The lice, the river Nile turned into blood. Look, this Lincoln Memorial turning green from algae, it's a plague, right? As well as an omen to the future of America the Great. It says here, the pool may need to be drained and refilled for a second time this month, according to Trump, who flew over the site in a helicopter on Sunday, and that's just optics, right? While on his way back from Camp David. It comes as Trump claims the pool's paint has been marred by vandals ahead of the 250th anniversary of the country's 4th of July Independence Day, right? All omens, right? And listen, in the spirit, for a vandal to do to slice this paint, which is submerged in water, right? I believe it's northwards of 300 feet, right? This is all the will of Yahweh Shemel Shai. This is the doing of Yahweh Shemel Shai. America the Great is done. Right, let me get a scripture. I'm rambling. Let's get Isaiah 14, verse 9. The point's in 11. Isaiah 14 and 9. Hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. Right? Hell being a condition, hell being the grave. Right? To meet thee at thy coming. Ultimately, the destruction of America the Great, Babylon the Great. It stirreth up, it says, it stirreth up the dead for thee, right? The dead, these are the nations. Even all the chief ones of the earth, the chief ones, these leaders of these other nations are being stirred up. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations, right? So these other nations are now being stirred up. Salakia. Right? These other nations are being stirred up. Right? It says here, it hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. Right? These other nations are fed up. Right? You have the leader, Gog, Magog, Putin. You have Kim Jong-un. You have Xi Jinping. Right? You have this whole thing going on with Iran. And you have Bibi. Right? And you have the allies of America the Great, Babylon the Great, now showing public disdain for America the Great, Babylon the Great. Look, the leader of Italy, there's that Nero 47 cursed out the female prime minister of Italy. Right? These other nations are looking, they're seeing America for what she is, weak and abominable. It reads, verse 10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Right? And these nations, these historic nations that have been weaker than America the Great, Babylon the Great, they're now emboldened. Right? They're now looking at her as weak. Right? Iran, look at this whole Iran thing. 1 minute they're coming to an agreement, and we know it's all theatrics, all an enchantment. Right? All roads lead to the MOTB. Right? The theater of war. Right? The next minute, this morning the news came out, Iran's closing the strait again. Right? Confusion. Right? And heavy enchantments. Right? But all these other nations are no longer afraid of America the Great. Verse 11, here's the point. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. Right? Your pomp. Right? I looked it up earlier. Let's see if I can get it. Pomp. Right? 13th century on the online etymology. Noun. Ostentation and display. Especially on parade. Right? From Old French Pompeii. Pomp. Magnificence. Right? Especially on parade. Right? And that is the vibration of America the Great, Babylon the Great. Right? Their leader, a very proud man. Right? I was watching a clip where he was saying, before they went ahead and did this whole Lincoln Memorial revamp, he was saying, oh, it's going to last for the next 50 to 100 years. Right? That's pride. Right? That's Psalms 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever. Roughly paraphrasing. They name their lands after themselves. Roughly paraphrasing. Right? That's America. Isaiah 14:11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. Right? Your pomp, your splendor, your pride, your magnificence. Right? The grave, it says here, brought down to the grave. And the noise of the viols And the noise of thy viols, right? The music, that mirth, happy splendor, that's being brought to the grave. The worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee, right? The worm going into decay, right? The decay of their infrastructure, the decay of their architecture, right? Babylon the Great, America the Great. So this whole Lincoln Memorial algae, this morning they're saying they're finding dead ducks. Dead ducks in the body of water. Call Allah Yahweh Shimel Shai. Right? It's Allah omen. Right? Verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven? Right? From heaven. How art thou fallen from heaven? Heaven being lofty. A lofty status. Right? Esau's rulership is his heaven. Right? Oh, Lucifer, right? Bearer of light on the left-hand side. These elites, right? They are the bearer of light. They are illuminated on the left-hand side. Their sorcery, their witchcraft, right? Beginning with their elites, right? And the elect, right? Under Yahushai, right? Yahushai is the bearer of light on the right-hand side. The illuminated, bright and morning star, Yahushai, right? O Lucifer, son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, right? Your elites cut down to the ground. Ultimately, the destruction of America the Great, Babylon the Great, right? Your elites are going to go hide and run into bunkers and dumbs, deep underground military bases to hide from the wrath of Yahushai and the angels, right? On foreign soil. Their bunkers are going to be in Greenland, Europe, South Africa, right? They're going to escape the missiles, these elites, but they're going to be preserved for hardcore slavery. They're the first crop of slaves. When the elect come down out of the heavens with Yahushai and the angels, when the elect come down out of the heavens with the new bodies, the elect are going to go around snatching up these elites. It says here, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations, right? You weaken the nations, right? You were the hammer of the earth. You still are, but post apocalypse, post destruction, you will be the has-been. You were the hammer of the earth. You were the one that did weaken the nations. Verse 13, for thou hast said in thy heart, right, in your mind, I will ascend into heaven. Right, that's your pride. Right, very proud. Leader don't stop boast. Nero 47 does not stop boast. Always boasting of prideful comments and prideful remarks. Right, I will ascend into heaven. Right, the heights. Right, and going into your pride. Also twofold, going into your being there in the upper atmosphere with your satellites, your GPS, your satellites. I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh B'Shem El Shai. Right? The stars of Yahweh B'Shem El Shai. Right? Who are the stars of Yahweh B'Shem El Shai? The 12 tribes of Israel. Right? Your foot has been on the neck of the Israelites. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, right? Sitting also upon the mount of the congregation, right? The Israelites in the sides of the north, right? The Israelites are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, right? But the primary, the main stage play is America the Great, Babylon the Great. That is the north, the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, right? They're satellites. I will be like the Most High, right? They think they're the Most High. They had eyes like a man and spake, and a mouth saying great things, roughly paraphrasing. That's in Daniel 7, right? They're boasting in their technology, right? Their AI, which is a demon, right? What is Noah Harari on the record saying? We can be gods, roughly paraphrasing, right? Verse 15, yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, right? Hell being a condition, the grave, and a condition, right? Ultimately destruction for America, the great, Babylon the Great, and hardcore slavery for your Edomites, beginning with your elites, to the sides of the pit. Verse 16, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble, that did shake kingdoms? Right? So ultimately, right, this is it for you, Esau, Edom. This is it for you. This is your last hurrah. Lamentations 4:22. Right? This is it for you. Right? All these other nations, the whole earth, they're gonna see this is post-destruction in the kingdom. When Yahushua and the angels, when Yahushua and the elect are going around the real reset, colonizing the earth and putting Esau into hardcore slavery, these other nations are going to look and say, is this the man that this is him? Right? Verse 17, that made the world as a wilderness and destroy the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Right? You colonize the whole earth. Right? You destroyed the earth, the destroyer of the earth, the destroying mountain. You destroyed the earth, polluted it, was unprofitable. It says here that opened not the house of his prisoners. You refused to take your hands off of the Israelites. Right? But yeah, that's it on that, man. I was just flowing in the spirit. Just wanted to speak on that real quick. But this is it for America, the great, Babylon the Great. I pray you're edified. Call Allah, Yahweh, Bashem, Yahshai, Bashem, Rakakorash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of great ministers and teacher on Ruel. Shalom to the elect.